Afternoon, everyone. This is Alan Goldberg of the ASBDC presenting a Web Bytes series that for most people who have done webinars find almost a unique kind of format. And that is because I am on with Ruth Hedges, who is the CEO of the Funding Roadmap, and we developed a series to not take, forgive me for the play on words, too big a bite out of your day, but instead give you in a small set of increments. And I think, Ruth, we have 8 or 9 of these Web Bytes series to talk about the funding roadmap. Because we're using GoToWebinar and because Ruth is now been made a co-presenter, I'm going to hand the keys to the car over to her and let her drive for a while. Ladies and gentlemen, Ruth Hedges of the Funding Roadmap.
Thank you, Alan, very much, and thank you all for joining us this afternoon or this morning, depending upon which side of the world you're on. Some of you may have joined some of our other webinars and seen the funding roadmap and seen how it applies to different problems and solutions that we have today. Today's subject actually is about job creation, which is probably the biggest challenge that we have in our economy and our society today, and probably for the future of our country. So I'm taking, I want to show you how our technology can change this problem. For those of you who study this, you know that on average 3 million jobs in their first year are created by startups, and older companies lose 1 million jobs annually. Americans are increasingly deciding that the only way to rescue themselves from the financial free-for-all that began in 2008 is to, and the only way to jumpstart our economy is to start their own small business. We believe that small business owners, with your help, will rescue the economy.
Wait, Ruth, wait. I want you to say that one more time, because what you just said is so profound.
Okay.
To you, it's very normal, but for those of us in the small business community, you're actually playing from some sheet music that a lot of people in Washington don't understand. Say that one more time for anybody that's listening that has not heard that before about small business.
Okay. The whole thing, or just the we believe small business owners, with your help, will rescue the economy?
Well, no. Right before that, you said something that was really, really on point, right on target, about what Americans are coming to believe more and more.
Oh, Americans are increasingly deciding the only way to rescue themselves from the financial free-for-all that began in 2008 and possibly jumpstart the U.S. economy in the process is to start their own small business.
Thank you.
And we will, yes, I mean, the numbers prove it. All of the data proves it. You can look at this country historically from the beginning of our existence. What we call the immigrants starting businesses, we now call startups, but essentially it's the same thing. And we believe that small business owners, like I said, with the help of the SBDCs and the organization that you operate so well, could really help rescue our economy. We believe this because entrepreneurs create the lion's share of all new jobs in every part of our country and in every industry. Not only do startups bring a wealth of transformative innovation to the market, but they also have generated all net job creation over the past 3 decades. And in the last decade alone, small businesses created nearly 70% of all new jobs in the United States. And while it's not just net job creation that startups dominate, older firms lose more jobs than they create. Those jobs flows decline as firms age. On average, 1-year-old firms create nearly 1 million jobs, while 10-year-old firms generate only 300,000 jobs. The notion that firms bulk up as they age is not true. The data does not support it. And policymakers tend to focus on changes in the national or state unemployment rate or on layoffs by existing companies. But the data from the report suggests that growth would be best boosted by supporting startup firms. because startups that develop organically are almost solely the drivers of job growth, job creation policies aimed at luring larger established employers will inevitably fail. So what we're basically saying is that we need to create new businesses because they're the job creators, and this is what our technology can do, and I want to show you how this works. Basically what we did is we took the information that you would normally find in a business plan template, which is distributed by SBDCs and almost everyone else, in this type of format and in this type of format. We took all of this information that is normally found in this type of format and we built it in this type of format. And we built it on the cloud in a multiple choice format so that entrepreneurs could be aware of every single step they needed to take to launch a company, and they could benchmark their steps and progress through this process to eventually launch a long-term and successful business. And what differentiates this type of technology is that it's built in the clouds. It's electronic so that all the questions are hyperlinked directly to the answers. And the entrepreneur can benchmark their steps and work with their SBDC counselor, and everyone can see exactly what's going on in terms of you know, how far along they've gotten. So 50% of the funding roadmap is multiple choice. So you go to a question, you find the answer that applies. Maybe more than one applies to you. You just open up another field, and then you automatically, it self-populates into the field. As you go through this reporting system, you become educated and much more aware of all of the steps that you'll need to take. You also have an opportunity to look at different ideas that you may not have thought of as you were continuing to build this company. And this way you get to expand your knowledge about the industry that you are attempting to open a business in. So what we've done basically is taken the process of business startup into a more realistic type of cloud-based process. And as we all know, business plans don't work as presentational tools because no one ever reads them. I mean, that's really the biggest problem with writing a business plan. Not only do investors not read them, but entrepreneurs don't use them as business planning tools. I've yet to find a person who's told me that they go into their office every day and their staff sits down, or even once a week, or even once a month, and opens up their business plan and says, okay, let's follow what we planned to do when we wrote this. So if it's not going to help them as a planning tool, as a benchmarking tool, and a collaborative tool, then what's the point of writing it? And if investors and lenders are not going to read it, then also what's the point of creating this document if it's going to sit in a drawer and collect dust? And then by the time you actually have an opportunity to show it to somebody, it's outdated. In this type of, in the funding roadmap, everything is updatable on the fly from anywhere. You can even log into your smartphone and you can update the funding roadmap. So the other problem with business plans and templates is there's no due diligence information. And this is really the critical part of launching a company, which is eventually going to be able to create the jobs, is getting enough funding and getting access to capital. So what we did is we built a due diligence reporting system into the funding roadmap, which makes entrepreneurs aware of every question they'll be required to disclose ahead of time, and that way increase their chances of getting funded faster.
Ruth? Mm-hmm. As I am watching you go through this with the attendees in tow, one of the things that I've learned is that first of all, business plans, to do them are really a pain. They're really difficult because everybody's got a slightly different format. But you've said something about learning something from doing a business plan that I've never heard before. I've heard about doing business plans because I've done a lot of them. Go back just for a moment and take me through. I'm the small business guy. I look at funding roadmap, and I start to go through the process. You mentioned, which I think is really cool, it becomes more than just doing a business plan. It becomes an educational process.
Absolutely. And, you know, if you look at the statistics, and this is on the SBA's website, I'm not making this stuff up, 10 million people attempt to start a new business every single year.
10 million people?
10 million people. But only 3 million of them actually get their businesses off the ground. And where are the other 7 million? So what we're trying to do is to increase their chances of actually being successful at launching a new business, and also in being in keeping that business in business. Because the other problem, which the statistics show, is too many businesses go out of business too quickly. And a lot of it has to do with their level of education and knowledge about actually running a business. And this is where we come into play, because we force them to be aware of every single moving piece that they will have to acknowledge, have an answer to, take steps with in running a business.
Or even learn about, which I guess I had never thought about it that way. The statistics are chilling. When you say 10 million people start, I know where the 7 million are. They're on page 3 of their business plan because they don't have the funding roadmap. The other thing I was going to say was, you've talked about the cloud. Now, I'm a technician. I have been doing an IT cloud project. Putting information in the cloud is extraordinarily convenient, but I'm not sure everybody who's in attendance knows what a cloud is. Ruth, talk a little bit about what you've done as far as putting things in the cloud and the security behind it.
Sure. So we all are familiar with, you know, these templates. Almost every single SBDC office has some version of this. And, you know, it's how to write a business plan. And writing a business plan. So the problem is that if you download that template onto your desktop and then you print it, whatever work you're doing around that template is between you and that template. And maybe if you do take it in to be, you know, to a counselor, then you and the counselor are aware of it.
Right.
But no one else is aware of it. And one of the problems is we don't know where money should flow, into what communities it should go into what programs it should go into. Where are the startups? Where are these people who have the most experience, have the most knowledge and information to be able to launch a business? So what we've done is create this is a virtual reporting system. This is a system where the information stays securely online. We also incorporated video, which of course is a very powerful tool. We incorporated your Twitter, your LinkedIn, your Facebook, which are also cloud-based
social
platforms, by the way. All social networks are on the cloud. So what it means basically is that you don't have to wonder where all this information went. Where is it? How do we see it? How do we review it? How do we find it in any situation? And you know, we talked about this the last time about how during a crisis there is this, you know, enormous need to find this information quickly and to be able to verify that there was a man in New Orleans that had 3 dry cleaners, or a very successful restaurant, and it was completely wiped out and destroyed. But this man, this woman who was this successful business owner is still the same successful business owner they were before this disaster destroyed their business, and they should have